Welcome back. We were planning for many months to interview New Jersey Governor Chris Christie on Tuesday morning this past week. The morning came and there was a story on the front page of the New York Post. It said the governor, a few months back, had checked himself into a New York hospital under an assumed name at 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning. By 8 a.m., he'd had successful lap band surgery to control his weight. He's already lost an estimated 40-plus pounds. But had we known in advance about the surgery, we might not have set up the interview right next to where they sell the sausage and peppers and the fried Oreos along the boardwalk in Seaside Heights, New Jersey, where we both visited as kids and where we still go with our own families during summers at the now battered Jersey Shore. He started out by talking about his surgery, his decision, and his health.
I finally came to the conclusion when I turned 50 that I needed to do something. I did not want to take the risk of becoming unhealthy and the ramifications that would have for Mary Pat and for my 4 kids. And as you know, I still have children that are in elementary school, so I got a long road here as a father, and I don't want to miss any of it.
His now famous Letterman appearance was just 10 days before his surgery. He knew that, but the rest of us did not. That same week, President Clinton's former White House doctor, Connie Mariano, was asked to weigh in on the governor's weight, which she did without hesitation.
I worry that he may have a heart attack, he may have a stroke.
The governor responded swiftly and bluntly.
If she wants to get on a plane and come here to New Jersey and ask me if she wants to examine me and review my medical history, I'll have a conversation with her about that. Until that time, she should shut up.
So during the Dr. Mariano incident and during the donut incident on Dave, you knew yourself what the rest of us didn't know,
Sure.
and that is, I'm going in to get this fixed so it's all moot.
Yeah, or at least I hope it'll be moot. Yeah, but sure, I knew that. I knew that it was scheduled, and it doesn't make Dr. Mariano's conduct any less reprehensible, in my view. And the donut incident with David Letterman was kind of my goodbye. But you know, Brian, I've been through so much of this over the last 20 years that I'm not taking any victory lap, and I'm not preaching to anybody. I know how hard this is.
The surgery was supposed to happen back in the fall, but then something happened that shook the state and the nation and upended the governor's life.
We're starting to see water coming up on these dunes, and this thing is just getting wound up.
Hurricane Sandy smashed the coastline. The ocean came right ashore. And riding this stretch of beach still closed off to prevent looting. It's almost more apparent now, 6 months later, that Sandy hit in Katrina-like proportions. We're driving along here, and you find optimism here?
I do. You know, the pilings are coming in. The boardwalk will be built here. Will be all done here, you know, by Memorial Day. And, you know, you see things happening and rebuilding. So, yeah, I see hope. I absolutely see hope.
Though it's harder to see hope further on up the beach. Remember, 350,000 New Jersey homes were either damaged or destroyed.
That's just sad. That just got pummeled.
It just shows the extraordinary
There's still
power.
stuff on the shelves. It's been 6 months and
Right?
there's
Look at
still
that.
stuff on the shelves.
Look at that.
On the boardwalk, the suffering and emotions of those hardest hit are right there on the surface.
Okay.
I lost a house in Ortley Beach.
Uh-huh.
We're like the neglected stepchild.
Oh, you're not the neglected stepchild. No,
Look at it over there. Have you seen it?
I've seen it.
It's
But
the same way it is 6 months ago.
Yeah, except the problem is that they've got to decide, and everyone's got to decide what they're going to do with their own homes.
How can I build when it's so hazardous there?
You're telling me all the reasons you can't do something, and you want me to do what exactly to try to make it better? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to go in and knock all the houses down ourselves and have the state do it and take people's property? I don't think you want me to do that.
No.
And so, you know, we have to work with each other. You as neighbors have to get together and work with each other.
Another woman approached to thank the governor.
It's been hard, but thank you so much.
Yeah, I got 6 months. It's really hard.
If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
Don't you worry about it. That's what I'm here for.
So tell me about that encounter just now.
Well, she told me that the inspector came today and that they're going to start rebuilding their house, and she got really emotional about it. She's got a 91-year-old grandmother who lives with them, her mother, and her 7-year-old son. And so, you know, that's good. That's a good part of the job.
Everything's gone.
Yeah.
Chris Christie is a tactile politician. A lot of scared, anxious New Jerseyans threw their arms around that fleece he wore during the crisis. Bruce Springsteen even thanked him for his efforts. The blurry photo of the handshake following the NBC Sandy telethon ended years of an unrequited bromance. Christie's been to 132 Bruce concerts. The now famous fleece is featured in his first campaign commercial, which gauzily plays up his storm relief efforts and looks a bit like The Sopranos opening sequence when played side by side.
Another hug. What a day.
Christie is riding an almost 70% approval rating into the November election. But ask Republicans nationally and you'll get a different answer. He supported Mitt Romney, but befriended Barack Obama. He gave the expected red meat keynote address at the GOP convention, knowing most in the audience didn't regard him truly as one of them. Some still angrily contend he helped Obama's re-election.
How often do you reflect back on the political price you paid for getting along with our current president?
Well, listen, I don't spend a lot of time worrying about it because in my heart, I know I did what was right. And all I did was actually compliment someone who's doing their job well. And I think the people who second guess this are the typical political armchair quarterbacks who never in their lives have had to make a decision like the multitude of decisions I had to make in a very short period of time under enormous stress, seeing my home state, the place where I was born and raised, destroyed.
His roots are indeed right here, as he proved taking us to the house a few blocks away that he rented with a few pals the summer after high school graduation.
How many guys, what year, what was the circumstance?
Summer of 1980, after high school graduation, 12 of us.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I wish our viewers could share in the aroma that is greeting us as we come in the door. This is sadly very representative. Look at that. This is still
wet. Yep.
This is sadly representative
6 months later
of a lot of places here.
Yep, it is.
And right now there's very little to stop the ocean from roaring down this street again. So Christie wants to shore up the shoreline defenses.
Have those dunes rebuilt.
He wants new dunes and replenished beaches along over 100 miles of coastline.
Now that's somebody raising up to a new level.
That's someone raising their home.
Not everyone is in favor of a one-size-fits-all solution.
Now, Friday night at 10 p.m., you're watching this broadcast from Olathe, Kansas, Middle America. Great, solid suburb. And you'd be forgiven for wondering, why should my taxpayer dollars contribute anything to this boardwalk or the pictures I've seen of pumping sand back onto a beach that Mother Nature has decided belongs elsewhere? Make that case.
Because in Kansas, in Iowa, in Illinois, where they're experiencing flooding, we don't ask in New Jersey, why should we contribute to rebuilding homes or rebuilding infrastructure near these rivers that overflow on a regular basis and cause great havoc? We're Americans and we help other Americans, and we don't micromanage their choices.
The governor wants Jersey's boardwalks rebuilt and open for business by Memorial Day because they're such a big part of the huge engine of summer tourism.
It's fun.
And walking these boards, while it helps to speak Jersey, there aren't a whole elected politicians you can speak to this way.
Did you want some body piercing while we're here?
No, I usually do my body piercing in the summer. When my skin's warmer, it makes it go easier.
So you're like the rest of us?
Yes.
And there aren't a whole lot of elected politicians who speak like him.
See, now what about this, Brian? All right. How are you, guys?
Yeah.
See? You only live once.
Yeah.
Spring break 2012.
That's my
motto.
motto.
There you go. You only live once.
I'm not as good with the sleeveless stuff.
Good. How are you guys? Good.
See, soon you'll be in the sleeveless stuff.
Well, that's exactly
great.
right. Yeah, no, you
all
can't.
new you. Just gotta
people
not
can't
look
wait
to
for
the
that,
left.
can they?
This is the crap I have to hear.
Chris Christie has made bombast a cottage industry.
I am now armed and ready to go. Bullshit. Okay? That's what it is.
Oh, my God. What's this, the first date?
His comedy exploits have included SNL, Fallon, and Letterman.
There's one Chris Christie who's funny on talk shows.
And it's those exact clips that are being used against him in an ominous attack ad that's airing now with 5 months to go before the election.
But there is nothing funny about what Republican Governor Chris Christie is doing to our families.
Governor Chris
A guy from New Jersey who often leads with his mouth. And while he's getting smaller, he's still a big, brash Northeast governor who has so little in common with what tends to be a Southern-centric conservative core of his own party. Is it a fair question to ask that if you ran as a Republican for President of the United States, what Republican Party do you see that would support your candidacy out there right now? How would you survive a primary process in the current setup of the Republican Party?
Listen, I think very well. I'll worry about the presidency if and when I ever decide to run for it. But if you're saying to me, how do I feel as a Republican? I'm a damn good Republican and a good conservative Republican who believes in things that I believe in. But that does not mean that I would put party before my state or party before my country.
Governor Chris Christie, who told us, among other things, he is a climate change believer as he struggles now to rebuild, reform, and restore 127 miles of precious New Jersey coastline. There